So we're looking at England against Germany. The starting lineups are in. England have gone defensive. Jordan Pickford starts in goal. Kyle Walker, Luke Shaw, Declan Rice, John Stones, Harry Maguire, Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling, Kieran Trippier, Calvin Phillips, and Bukayo Saka. Looks like a back five from Gareth Southgate with Stones, Maguire in the middle, with probably Kieran Trippier playing on the right, Luke Shaw playing as a left wing back, two defensive midfielders, no Foden, no Mount, and no Jack Grealish. What do you think of that starting lineup?
Well, it's pretty much the lineup that I think had been mooted for the last sort of 24 hours or so. I think it's kind of been accepted by the press pack or whatever that Southgate would look to kind of negate Germany's threats from the wing backs, Gosens and Kimmich. So that's what he's done with Shaw and Trippier. I think I was expecting maybe what he did against Croatia to begin with Trippier on the left and then James on the right. But I think in the first game against Croatia, the Trippier positioning was more to support Mings than anything else. And I think Walker coming in gives it a little bit of better balance. I think he's been looking to get Trippier in to provide some set piece accuracy as well. I don't think we've really got an outstanding set piece taker outside of Trippier. I don't know, man. Like I'm kind of torn on it because I think England hadn't really done an enormous amount wrong at the back. I think we all, Manchester United fans generally would know that Maguire tends to operate a little bit better in a four. But yeah, I don't know. It remains to be seen. How do you feel about it? What's standing out for you?
What stands out for me from this England team is the defensiveness of it. And obviously, Gareth Southgate isn't going to go gung-ho now that the last 16, now that it's knockout games, he's not going to change it dramatically. But I think it's a shame that the biggest strength of this England team going into the tournament has been the attacking quality they have with Grealish, with Foden, with Mount, with Harry Kane, with Rashford, with Sterling. And we just haven't seen them be unleashed at all. I know you have a lot of players who are quite similar in terms of Mount and in terms of Grealish, and they do the similar jobs, but it's just a shame. Even the fact that we have not even seen Jadon Sancho get a single minute in this tournament so far is such a shame, that it's just such a defensive lineup. But you won't be saying that if England do go on to beat Germany here, because they've got a good run into the final. Just before we talk a little bit about England going into this game, the Germany starting lineup is in as well. Manuel Neuer starts in goal. Antonio Rudiger, Matthias Ginter, Mats Hummels, Joshua Kimmich, Kai Havertz, Toni Kroos, Timo Werner starts up front, Leon Goretzka, Robin Gosens, and Thomas Muller. So we're talking five at the back versus five at the back here, really, wing backs against wing backs. And there's a couple of comments on the YouTube channel as well. Southgate 7 at the back in a home tournament. Walker at centre back has made mistakes in the past, says Martin Butler, and Walker better on the flank. So what do you think about Kyle Walker? He will be probably playing the third centred defending role in this game.
Like that's a pretty fluid formation. England have played that in the run up, the qualification for the tournament, and I think actually, look, we all knew that it would be either this or how England had set up before. This is, as you said, this isn't going to be Southgate kind of just switching it to complete attack mode. But I think this game will be really cagey, and a lot's going to be coming down the wings, obviously with Gosens and Kimmich. I think there's going to be a lot on Walker and Trippier to stop Gosens kind of ghosting in at the back post with these long crosses that come in from the other side. But then again, England have a lot England can occupy their back five very well, insofar as Bukayo Saka had an amazing game last time out. I think he's brilliant. Sterling has scored twice. Obviously, he's been a little bit in and out of these games, but he's obviously going to occupy it because of his pace and his technique. I don't know, man, Harry Kane's going to have a really big game, because there's a real danger of him getting swallowed up between the back three with Hummels, Ginter and Rudiger, with more Goretzka than Kroos, obviously. Like, this is a real game where he's going to have to occupy things. But I think that what he'll be looking to do is drop deeper, pull defenders out of their position, and then give that room for Saka and Sterling. Look, I think this is probably pretty much what we're expecting at this stage. Look, I don't think anyone's really going to be getting the same level of entertainment they got on yesterday's games. But it's going to be fascinating, because it's a bit of a chess match between Löw and Southgate. And Southgate's gone he's matched what Germany have had their setup, and Germany are better equipped with that setup. So I don't know. It's one of these ones that you just completely are judged on the result. He'll either be seen to have bottled it afterwards, sadly, or he'll be the hero. So who knows?
Yeah, I think it was Gary Neville was saying that Rashford should start in this game because of the lack of pace in that German defense with Matthias Ginter and Mats Hummels playing in the center. You're not buying that by the looks of it.
Well, it's more the fact that Rashford is just injured. He's been injured since Christmas. He said himself last week that he needs surgery on the shoulder issue. Like one thing that I would love to have seen happen, but isn't going to happen without a bit of fanfare beforehand, is Sancho coming into the side. I think that he's got an understanding of how the Germans team play. He's exceptionally technically skillful. Look, I think the reality of him dropping Sterling realistically or Saka for that was unlikely, but it would have been nice to see maybe a little bit of a change up. Look, I mean, England have been, if nothing else, pretty solid. They've been pretty perfunctory. It's not been enjoyable to watch for anyone. But look, you won't see anyone complaining any England fan complaining if it's a 1-0 boring win after 95 minutes of just absolute abject tragedy. So I don't know. I'm so nervous.
For anybody watching, and you can't notice it from Ciaran's accent, he is English, so he has a right to be nervous going into this game. Do keep your comments coming underneath the video. Let us know what you think of the starting lineup. Let us know how you think the game's going to go. Fioncy is saying that Bellingham should be playing as well. Too much defensive in midfield. I do agree with that. I do think Jude Bellingham, regardless of his age, has been exceptional in every game I've seen.
Yeah, Bellingham's brilliant, and I would have loved to have seen him earlier in the tournament. And there was a point after, I think, the Scotland game where people were talking about a lack of creativity in midfield, which I think owed a little bit more to how Southgate had asked Phillips to play than anything else. But Bellingham could quite easily have come there, even in an ostensibly defensive midfield role, and added creativity. But the problem is that Southgate has his, for better or worse, and it's served him reasonably well so far, his favourites. Rice and Phillips have done well for him in the sense of giving that platform for the front 3 or 4 to operate. I really think that the key here is how Harry Kane plays, and I don't think we've really seen anything to suggest that he's approaching top form. But hopefully, full house, or half full house at Wembley against Germany can create a little bit of a spark. Because look, England teams, it's kind of been said as a criticism, and it probably is a criticism, have all the kind of blood and thunder and guts and all this stuff, but no real sort of, it's not going on upstairs. And I think if there's some combination of the two, and they play the game and not the occasion, then this could be a really good performance for England. But I don't know. Like, yeah. The back 3 in particular are going to have really good games, and Maguire's obviously just been blooded back in after 6 weeks out, so there's a lot on the line. And I think Werner as well is a really interesting one. I don't think we've seen as much of him this tournament as we might have expected to, maybe 12, 18 months ago. So yes, there's a lot on the line.
What are your friends saying? What's it like in the group chats now going into these games? Because you mentioned something there about England and the way that they play, and the fact that you would be happy with a scrape draw at 90 minutes, go through no matter what way it is done. So what's your group chat saying about this England team? Are you excited watching them, or are you just sheer nervous, or is there a feeling that, again, Benny Nolan saying in the comments below, Rashford, Grealish, Bellingham, Sancho, Mount and Foden can't get into the team? Is there a disappointment about that?
Well, I think it's not even quite resignation. There's an understanding of how Southgate operates, generally speaking. Like, people are still, there's still a lot of credit in the bank for how Russia went. And obviously, look, there's a lot of caveats that wasn't the hardest run, etc., etc. Like, the concerns, I was having a chat with my mate Pete earlier, who was saying, what happens if they go behind? Does he still keep it tight until the last 15 and then make changes? Because we've made the peace with the fact that it's going to be tight, it's going to be cagey. He's going to try and take the blood and thunder out of the occasion initially, and then try and operate things. And look, obviously, one of the lads was saying there, Grealish, no place for Grealish. Grealish will feature, I'm sure of it. You'll probably see Rashford. You might see someone like Sancho as well. They have options off the bench. It's going to be a bit of a chess match, this match, and like that's just the nature of it. I think Pete, my mate, was saying, I have concerns about Southgate's ability to really change the situations in game. I haven't really seen that much out of him, particularly in tournaments. But then again, it's only really been the Croatia game and arguably Tunisia at the start of the last World Cup where that's really been needed. And obviously Scotland this time around, which was just a disappointing performance all round. So generally speaking, I think we're just kind of buzzing to get this underway now, because there is nothing worse than waiting for England, Germany. Like it's that creeping sense of dread. It's like putting on an old jumper.
Yeah, it's funny because the English media, all they're talking about is this rivalry. But if you talk to or read anything from the German side, it's not a rivalry. It doesn't exist. It's just one of these monkeys on England's back since Euro 96 in particular. Have you seen much of Germany at this tournament so far?
Yeah, a reasonable amount. I saw most of the group games, bar the last one where I was watching Portugal, France. I look, a lot's been said about them. It doesn't matter because, like you say, and I think this is a key point, that England Germany sort of furore and chaos or whatever is definitely more on the England side. Like it's without a doubt a national bugbear and a national problem. The Germans see it as time to kind of like kick into tournament mode and go into just full Germany mode. And unfortunately, England don't really have that muscle memory as much. And what I'm hoping against hope really is that the younger generations, as we've said kind of ad nauseum of late, who don't remember 96 and 90 and, all these horrible results, are just going to cast off the shackles and put in an amazing performance. But, who knows? Yeah. We will see by 7:00.
That's the absolute beauty of this tournament, is that the ITV and BBC coverage has been non-stop Euro 96 stuff about England, and they get drawn against Germany. Everyone's asking Phil Foden and Jack Grealish and all the rest what they thought about 96, and they're like, well, I was 3 years old or 2 years old, so I don't really have an opinion on it. It's one of those weird things that broadcasters just seem to forget these players are quite young.
Yeah, well, I think I think they're doing it because they know that they're going to get their reaction, and they just it's just such dead content. It's such a pointless thing. But I think, I don't know. I hate this game so much, and to be honest, I just want it underway now, because I really do think, particularly in the run up, the English media just is intolerable. Because I was reading a piece by an unnamed journalist earlier that was just going around all the tropes of sort of, Churchillian speeches and all this stuff. And it's just just let them play the game. Don't play the occasion. I really hope they do. And actually, I think that's where Southgate is really good. Southgate's got that bank of experience. He's got his own personal experience to be able to say to him, just lads, tap the brakes here. Let's grow into the game, and let's go out and get what we need.
There's just over half an hour left until this fixture, so a few more questions just before we finish up. Callum Burton is asking, how do you feel Saka will play against this Germany team? Won't run at them or just play it smart? He was a key player, I think, in the last group game against Croatia. A really, really technically brilliant player, and someone who I think surprises many. I think he went under the radar about how good he actually is going into this tournament. If you're going to unlock Harry Kane, like you're saying, he's going to be key to that.
Yeah, he's going to occupy people. He's so versatile and he's so intelligent. He can just slot into these different sort of functions that Southgate needs. I was listening to an interview with him afterwards where he was saying, where he was being asked, was this driving runs from deep? Is that something that you guys have worked on, or is it just a case of you go out there and do what you do? He's like, no, 100%. This is stuff that we work on. So there is a game plan there. I realised that the group stages were very cagey. Saka is one of those lads that he's that person in that tournament team where you go, oh God, get him on the ball and just you're on the edge of your seat. I love him. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I really want to see him do well. I really want Kane to have some sort of redemptive moment at the moment, because he's looking very off pace, and I think the more that Saka and Sterling can do to occupy the back line, the better. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it was the Czech Republic I meant there, I'd say, in the final game. Of course, they played Scotland in the first game. Adam says, no expense spared with this expert. He used the most amount of I don't know before this game. Well, Ciaran is the only English person I know that I could have got on here at 20 minutes before the kickoff. So Adam, unfortunately, yes, he came at a large expense, because the large expense is the fact that he's actually English going into this game. So yeah, Ciaran, right, I'll put you on. I will put you out of your misery because there's 30 minutes before the most important game of Gareth Southgate's management career anyway. So what is your prediction for England against Germany?
Oh, God. I'm going to go to just heart overhead 2-1 England. And I think it might even go to extra time. I think it's likely to go to extra time. And yeah, to that lad Adam who's had a pop at me in the comments there, you try and spend 0 on a contributor and see what you get. You get what you pay for. But no, I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait. And yeah, I'm just extremely nervous. I hate this game.
If it goes to penalties, do England win or do England lose?
Of course England don't win. No, we know this. The thing is, right, so I was on the programme we did prior to the World Cup, just before the Colombia game, and I said I sort of don't mind the fact that if it goes to penalties, I don't think that we're weighed down by the baggage as before. And I think that's still the case. But Germany, it's in their DNA. They know this, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's that collective fog that surrounds the England team that you can't help being kind of, weighed down by. But look, I think any other team England that have a chance, oh God almighty, don't put penalties into the mix. It's just awful. It's just, even last night I was saying to you, like, you just feel nervous, even if you're not involved. It's a horrible, horrible experience. But yeah.
I do apologize.
I know everyone on here, I know everyone in Ireland will be so happy.
Yeah, I'm going for a Germany win. I think Germany just edge it, and Southgate is going to be lamenting leaving his best players on the bench for this game. So, Ciaran, enjoy the game and best luck.
Thanks a million. Cheers, guys. Take it easy.